So you have a background in evolutionary biology. I'm assuming you know a good bit about evolutionary psych as well. Is that right? So help me conceptualize I can understand a certain degree of like a Trump narcissism. Even if you don't like it, you say, from an evolutionary perspective, that type of mentality probably led to increased odds of survival, maybe increased, reproduction, had more kids to survive. The progressive mentality seems to be the opposite of what you would expect from, an evolutionary mindset. It's almost like they're trying to push a self-destruct button on society. You have things, an extreme version would be like in the trans thing, if you're making yourself infertile, that's the opposite of what evolution would want you to do, having more kids. So it seems so much of this is the opposite of the direction that evolution would want us to go, so to speak.
Well, it's certainly something to think about. I haven't really gotten into whether or not it's really dysgenic in the sense that you're talking about, but one of the things you brought up is that one of the key features of, left-wing radical progressive organizations and groups is that they self-immolate. They just get into a state where they eventually end up in an interpersonal conflagration themselves, and they can never achieve any outcomes because they end up just infighting and breaking down, and there's no structure. They can't accept any hierarchy or order, and so they just end up engaging in basically group petulance because there's no structure to the group. There's no orientation or hierarchy that can establish a command structure to have any coherent group organizational capacity. So they certainly do self-immolate as groups and as orientations and as an ideology. It ends up just being basically a borderline breakdown, an affect storm, as Kernberg would say. But as far as whether or not reproductive fitness is involved, I would be hesitant to take that bridge too far right now. With the trans movement, it's still at the population level, even though we've seen this rapid uptick in, the social contagion and road, it's still relatively minor. And even when you consider the amount of people that are having these surgeries, it's still a small proportion of the total population. So certainly the mental aspect of it is dysgenic, though. The idea that, you would alter your body in ways that make it less likely to be able to successfully reproduce.